Hello and welcome to Past Matters, where we explore the fascinating stories of the past. Today we are going to talk about one of the most remarkable and tragic kings of the medieval world, Baldwin IV of Jerusalem, also known as the Leper King. Baldwin IV was the king of Jerusalem from 1174 to 1185, during the time of the Crusades, the holy wars between Christians and Muslims over the control of the Holy Land. He was a brave, intelligent and pious ruler who faced many challenges, both external and internal, but also a terrible disease that slowly consumed his body and mind. How did he become king? How did he cope with his illness? How did he defend his kingdom against the mighty Saladin? And what legacy did he leave behind? In this video, we will explore the life, reign and death of King Baldwin IV, the Leper King of Jerusalem. Baldwin IV was born in 1161, the son of Amalric I, the king of Jerusalem, and his first wife, Agnes of Courtenay. He had an older sister, Sibylla, and a younger half-sister, Isabella, from his father's second marriage. He was educated by William of Tyre, a famous historian and archbishop who also served as the chancellor of the kingdom. William was the one who discovered that Baldwin suffered from leprosy when he was only 9 years old. Leprosy was a feared and incurable disease that caused skin lesions, nerve damage and deformities. William kept Baldwin's condition secret for as long as possible, hoping that it would not progress or affect his ability to rule. He also taught him how to read, write, speak Latin and Greek, and learn about history, law, and theology. Baldwin's father died in 1174 when Baldwin was only 13 years old. He was crowned king 4 days later in Jerusalem. As he was still a minor, he had 2 regents to help him govern, Miles of Plancy, a French knight who was assassinated soon after, and Raymond III of Tripoli, a powerful noble who was also his cousin. Baldwin assumed full control of his kingdom when he turned 15 in 1176. He proved to be a capable and courageous ruler who faced many challenges during his short reign. One of his main challenges was to defend his kingdom against Saladin, the sultan of Egypt and Syria, who wanted to unite all Muslims under his rule and drive out the Christians from the Holy Land. Saladin launched several attacks on Jerusalem and its allies, but Baldwin managed to resist him with his army and diplomacy. One of Baldwin's most famous victories against Saladin was at the Battle of Montesard in 1177. Saladin invaded the kingdom with a large army and marched towards Jerusalem. Baldwin gathered a much smaller force of knights and infantry and met him near Ramla. Despite being outnumbered and ill, Baldwin led a daring charge that broke Saladin's lines and forced him to flee. Saladin lost most of his men and equipment in this battle. Another challenge that Baldwin faced was to deal with the internal factions and intrigues that threatened his kingdom's stability. He had to balance the interests and ambitions of various nobles, religious orders, foreign powers, and his own family. He also had to secure the succession to his throne since he had no children or brothers. He chose his sister Sibylla as his heir and arranged her marriage to Guy of Lusignan, a French knight who became his co-ruler in 1183. However, this decision was not popular among some nobles who preferred another candidate, Raymond III's wife Esquiva or Baldwin's half-sister Isabella. Baldwin also had to cope with his worsening illness that affected his eyesight, hearing, speech, and mobility. He often had to appoint regents or guardians to rule in his place when he was too sick or incapacitated. He also had to endure the stigma and isolation that came with leprosy in a society that considered it a divine punishment or a sign of impurity. Baldwin's condition deteriorated rapidly in his last years. He became blind, deaf, and paralyzed. He could not eat or drink without assistance. He suffered from constant pain and infections. He died in March 1185 at the age of 24 in Jerusalem. He was buried in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the holiest site in Christianity. He was mourned by his people who admired him for his courage, piety, and devotion to his kingdom. Before he died, he crowned his nephew, Baldwin V, the son of Sibylla and her first husband, as his successor. He also appointed Raymond III and Jocelyn III of Courtenay as his guardians. He hoped that this arrangement would ensure a peaceful transition and a strong defense against Saladin. However, his hopes were dashed when his nephew died a year later at the age of 8. A civil war broke out between Sibylla and Guy on one side and Raymond and Isabella on the other. Saladin took advantage of this situation and invaded the kingdom again. He defeated Guy at the Battle of Hattin in 1187 and captured Jerusalem later that year. Baldwin IV's legacy is one of heroism and tragedy. He is remembered as one of the most remarkable and respected kings of Jerusalem who fought bravely against overwhelming odds and a terrible disease. He is also seen as a tragic figure who died young and left behind a divided and doomed kingdom. He has been portrayed in various books, movies, and games, such as Kingdom of Heaven, 2005, where he is played by Edward Norton wearing a silver mask, The Crusader, 2009, where he is played by James Purefoy, and Crusader Kings 2, 2012, where he is a playable character. He has also inspired admiration and sympathy from many historians and writers, such as William of Tyre, who wrote, "He was a prudent man, learned in the scriptures, humble under the hand of God, patient in adversity, beloved by all," and Bernard Hamilton, who wrote, "He was an outstanding example of that rare phenomenon, a natural leader of men." These are some of the aspects of the life, reign, and death of King Baldwin IV, the Leper King of Jerusalem. What do you think of him? Do you admire him or pity him? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Past Matters videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.